Hey, happy Monday, guys. It is Monday, and you know what that means? Tomorrow's Tuesday. But it also means that we are starting a brand new study this week. We were talking about butterflies last week, and this week we are talking about frogs. And I love frogs because just like butterflies, they go through a metamorphosis, a mini changing of their life cycle. Now, just like butterflies, they do start out as eggs, but they do change into something else before they get to a frog, which means those many stages that they have to get to in order to go from an egg to a frog. So maybe you have seen a frog before. We have frogs here in the desert. We have lots of different frogs. And then we also have toads because toads do not require the water that a frog does. So guys, today we are going to have an introduction into frogs, and we are going to look at this book. Now I want you to see, does this book have illustrations or does it have photographs? I want you to tell me, does it have illustrations or photographs? That's right, it has photographs. The Roxy girl, do you agree? Yeah, she agrees. So, guys, she's saying happy Monday. But this book has photographs, and that means that it is a nonfiction real book. We are going to talk about some of the facts of frogs. So this makes this book an informational text. So I'm going to tell Roxy to scatter for a second. She's probably not. She's not going to pay any attention to me, but that's okay. So guys, today we are going to read all about toads and frogs. Now this book is written by Victoria St. John. It is not illustrated by anyone because these are true pictures of toads and frogs. Now there are some very big differences between toads and frogs, and there are some things that are the same. So please check on Google Classroom today because there may be some questions about toads and frogs, as well as from your academic instruction from online. So go ahead, sit back, and let's read about some toads and frogs. Now we know that a part of an informational textbook is going to have that's right, a table of contents. So that table of contents, remember, tells us where we can find the different parts of the book, the information that we want to look at. So say I just want to talk about eggs and tadpoles. I would look on page number 10 to 12, absolutely. But we're going to start from the beginning. So here we go. Introduction. Toads are part of the frog family. Toads and frogs have cold blood and live in water and on land. They are amphibians. That is a very key word. Keep that word inside your brain, amphibian. They live in both hot and cold places. A toad has cold blood and rough skin. Now, a cold-blooded creature means that they have to have the sun heat up their body to a good temperature. Remember, we talked about that when we were talking about habitats. A cold-blooded creature, like your snakes and reptiles as well as amphibians, have to have the sun heat up their body. We are not amphibians, we are mammals, and that means that our body temperature stays the same no matter what. We don't have to have the sun to heat up our bodies. But toads and frogs are amphibians, and they do. Frogs have short, fat bodies. Frogs are longer and thinner. Toads' back legs are short, so they do not jump much. Frogs' back legs are longer, so they can jump farther. Toads often have dry, warty skin, but frogs have smooth, damp skin. And it's going to show you some parts of the frog. So you can see a frog has its head and mouth. We know what comes out of that long mouth, a long sticky tongue. Front legs, and they also have webbed feet. That means that they have skin in between their little fingers that helps them push the water and swim much, much better. Back legs and their bodies. Both toads and frogs eat insects, slugs, and worms. Both toads and frogs have a tongue that they quickly flip out to catch prey. Toads do not have teeth, but most frogs do. So you can see, guys, they have some strong back legs and they do not have teeth. They eat most toads do not have teeth and most frogs do. And then they have those long tongues that they use to catch their prey quickly. That toad right there caught himself an earthworm, and that's pretty tasty. Frogs and toads swallow food whole. They may spit to help them swallow. They have no bones between their eyes and their mouths. Their eyes close and sink back and down when they swallow. This helps them push food down their throats. A tree frog about to swallow a cricket. Look at that. That is amazing, guys. That frog is about to swallow its cricket, and so its eyes go back and down into their skull, so that way they can help push that food down. They don't chew up food the way that we do. That is so cool. See, frogs and toads are amazing. Nightlife. Most toads are active at night or nocturnal. Most frogs are nocturnal, but some are active during the day. Toads and frogs sleep in grass, trees, burrows, and leaves. Some sleep during the cold winter or hibernate. Now, nocturnal, we've talked about that word before. That means that the animals come out at nighttime. They sleep during the day and they come out at night. Can you think of any other animals that are nocturnal? Now in Texas, there were a lot of animals that were nocturnal. We used to have a possum that came into our garage at nighttime, and he would eat the cat food or the dog food that was out for the animals. And it was the cutest thing. Now don't touch them because they are crazy mean. But he would sit there and he would eat and he would hold it in his paws, and raccoons would do the same thing. We had a lot of possums and raccoons coming into our garages. Now guys, this is going to talk about the life cycle of a toad and a frog. They do have the same life cycle, that metamorphosis, that many steps to get from a egg to a toad or a frog. So look very carefully because this is going to be part of our academic instruction this week. Eggs and tadpoles. Most toads and frogs lay eggs in water. That's going to be very important, so remember that. Toads lay eggs in long jelly-like streams. Frogs lay eggs in clusters. That means they're all bunched up together. Tadpoles hatch from toads and frogs' eggs. Now guys, look very closely. That is a picture of a tadpole. Do you see a little bitty something next to its tail? I'm going to show it to you even closer. Oh my goodness. You are looking at a part of the body that is about to grow on a tadpole. Tadpoles have parts that let them breathe underwater, or gills, and a tail to help them swim. They lose the gills and tail as they grow bigger. Instead, they grow 2 legs on each side. Eventually, they grow into toads or frogs. So here's the life cycle, guys. They will start out as eggs, and then look, this arrow shows us that it's going in a circle, and that circle is the life cycle, life circle. So they start off as eggs, they go into a young tadpole, then an older tadpole, so they grow their back legs first, and then their front legs, and then their tail starts getting smaller and smaller. And then they grow into a frog to start the life cycle all over again. That is so cool. Oh, I love this part, guys, because we are about to see the most beautiful colors that nature has to offer. Toads have ways to keep safe. They have poison glands on their heads. The poison keeps them safe from animals that hunt them or predators. That's right. Toads can puff themselves up to frighten predators. Some frogs have poison. but most do not. Now, we talked about these guys, those poison dart frogs that live in certain rainforests and wetlands. And remind me, what tells predators, dude, don't eat me. I am not going to make your belly happy. What reminds that predator to not eat this frog? Its color, that's right, it's bright blue, and that's not normal in the animal kingdom. So it is definitely telling a predator, do not eat me, I am poisonous. Now, sweet loves, we are going to look at some different types of toads and frogs. This one is called a cane frog, and that cane frog lives in South America. So remember our continents, we have North America, South America. And it can be 6 inches long or a little longer than a pen. So if you find a pen in your house today, that's how big a cane toad can get. Now, this is a stinking awesome one, a Goliath frog. They are the largest frogs on Earth. These amphibians can be 12 inches long and weigh 6.5 pounds. They are not pests. They are an endangered species. That means that there are not a lot of them left, whether they have been hunted by humans or their natural habitat has been taken, or there has been something in the environment that has changed, causing them to die. Now, a Goliath frog is 12 inches long, so if you have a ruler at your house, put it down on the floor, and that is how big these Goliath frogs are, guys. And they are amphibians. That means that they live mostly in the water, and they are cold-blooded. Now, this is the last part of the book, threats to toads and frogs. Many toads and frogs are in danger. People destroy places where they live. Pollution affects places where they breed. That means where they lay their eggs. Toads and frogs are alike in many ways. Now, guys, this is a very important introduction to our toads and frogs this week. Toads and frogs are amphibians, and that means, frogs and toads are amphibians. Frogs live mostly in the water, and then toads live mostly on land. But both are amphibians, and both are cold-blooded, which means that they need the sun in order to heat up their bodies. So today, guys, I want for you to make sure that you take a peek at your academic instructions and head on over to the Google Classroom, and we will make sure and add our toads and frogs on there. So guys, have a great Monday. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.